Today on 9 News Mornings.
The company is told that this individual is a predator, is a rapist, is a danger, and they took no action.
A Colorado cardiologist is accused of drugging and raping women that he met on a dating site. Now those women are turning their attention to the apps with plans for a new lawsuit underway. We now know actors and performers will join Hollywood writers on the picket lines.
You cannot keep being dwindled and marginalized and disrespected and dishonored.
What we know this morning about the impacts we can expect to see on our TVs and at the box office. We are just hours away from Taylor Swift taking the stage at Empower Field. Everything you need to know from how to get there to the Eras Tour impact on our economy. And today, consider leaving the car at home and taking the scenic route. It's Tube to Work Day. We're live in Boulder as people hit the creek. 9 News Mornings starts now. We start with breaking news this morning. A man is dead after a shooting overnight involving Adams County Sheriff's deputies.
9 News reporter Anusha Roy is live at the Lakeside Motel just off of Federal. Anusha, what do we know so far?
Yeah, so we're about 5 hours into this investigation. Jordan, Corey, I just got off the phone with investigators. They said that it was actually deputies who happened to be in this area around midnight when they started to notice some suspicious activity around the 6200 block of Federal. And when they tried to make contact with that man, they believed there was a handgun. This is where the details are murky. It's still being sorted out. Investigators saying what happened next happened really quickly, but that one deputy did open fire. That man, like you said, is dead. The deputy is not hurt. When you're following the crime scene tape, it's going from the neighboring pawn shop all the way around the lakeside and to the other side where you can definitely see that there are still investigators out here. What investigators said was that this happened in the parking lot outside of the Lakeside Inn, but actually has nothing to do with the inn. That's just happened to be where this incident developed, again, right after midnight, around 12:15. This is a stretch of Federal that has a whole bunch of businesses along the way. Investigators say there is no threat to the community, to the businesses. What they were worried about were the road closures along this stretch of Federal, impacting the morning commute. But it looks like the road is back open, except for, of course, where the deputies are parked right now. We're seeing cars going by pretty easily with no obstruction or running into any traffic issues here. So, of course, we will continue to keep you updated as we are learning more. We do know that the deputy has been placed on paid administrative leave, which is standard protocol for an issue like this. And, of course, we'll continue to give you updates as we learn them throughout the morning. Corey and Jordan?
All right, Anusha, thank you for that. We'll check back in with you for more updates. Right now, we want to get over to Erica Lopez because, Erica, this could be impacting people's traffic this morning.
And what we just saw, Jordan and Corey, from Anusha is that it's not at this hour. We've got that one southbound lane on Federal on the far right side that is still closed. Aside from that, things looking to be okay. We'll, of course, continue to monitor that as the commute gets a little busier. But the big problem we're following right now, in the last few minutes, we just got reports that eastbound 6th Avenue is shut down between Sheridan and Federal. This is because of an unrelated crash. A really major scene out here. It's a little bit of a foggy camera, so hard to make out exactly what's happening out here. But we know that the eastbound side of 6th Avenue between Sheridan and Federal is closed. Traffic is being detoured off of 6th Avenue. Major thoroughfare for folks. Quick check on the map to where that is, where we're seeing that purple just after Lakewood, headed toward I-25. So big inconvenience there, but the rest of the metro at this time, as far as the roads go, pretty quiet. And Ed, we're in for a little bit of a cool down compared to the last few days.
Yes, we are. We have some cooler weather moving in, Erica, and that's going to keep us in the 80s today. Right now, though, we're kind of warm before this cooler gets here. We're near 70 at Denver. Look at Grand Junction, near 80 degrees right now. And we do have that Ozone Action Day alert. Once again, it's been issued until 4 o'clock this afternoon. So we will see a couple of scattered clouds moving across the state. They'll produce an isolated shower or two later on. And the farther east you go, and I mean even into Kansas, that's where the really severe weather is going to be. And that's what the outlook shows. Just general storms along the Front Range, a little greater chance for severe weather out east. 84 degrees is where we will be today. Then Saturday, 83 degrees, better chance for storms. And then we dry it out. We're right back to sunny, hot and dry weather. 90, which is normal for this time of year, and sunshine. Look at your Monday, starting to close in on 100 degrees, 97, and sunny skies, and more heat on Tuesday, 95, with maybe an isolated storm.
All right, Ed, thank you. Well, new overnight, Fort Collins police is investigating a bomb threat called into a movie theater at the mall. It started around 10:30 last night. Police evacuated the theater while they investigated, and they say they didn't find a bomb or anything suspicious. Now they're trying to figure out who called in that threat.
Also new overnight, police in Denver are investigating a shooting on I-70 just east of Quebec Street. They say 2 people were taken to a hospital. We haven't been given an update on how they're doing or any information about a suspect. This is the 3rd shooting to happen on I-70 in just a few weeks. On the 4th of July, a motorcyclist was shot and killed. And then last month, 3 people were hurt when they were shot on I-70 near Havana.
Women who say a cardiologist drugged and sexually assaulted them want to file a lawsuit. They claim they reported Stephen Matthews to the dating apps as early as 2019, but he was allowed to stay on and connect with more women. Stephen Berg is preparing his own case separate from the criminal one against the cardiologist in Denver. He is representing women who say Matthews drugged and raped them after meeting him on a dating app.
A company is told that this individual is a predator, is a rapist, is a danger. And they took no actions of it, and this was totally preventable. They were told he would be removed.
And that didn't happen.
And that didn't happen.
Berg says some of his clients reported Matthews to the apps owned by Match as early as 2019. An arrest affidavit says women found him on Hinge or Tinder years later. Berg's clients felt ignored and now want the apps to need to take notice. We reached out to Match, the parent company, and we are waiting to hear back.
Dozens of Marshall Fire victims have joined together in suing to get Xcel Energy to pay for damages and losses they suffered in the fire. Last month, investigators say Xcel's power lines were the most likely cause of one of the 2 fires that merged together on December 30th, 2021. The lawsuit claims the utility failed to properly design, construct, inspect, repair, and manage its electrical equipment, resulting in the start of one fire. It alleges Xcel knew that its equipment was old and unsafe, but failed to conform to industry standards to improve the safety. The lawsuit also claims Xcel knew that the weather and dry conditions at that time put the area at high fire risk. Xcel already faces several other lawsuits stemming from the Marshall fire, although utility officials have said they don't believe their equipment actually started the fire.
The Secret Service has ended its investigation into cocaine found in the White House without any leads. Agents say they also don't know when someone put the dime-sized bag in a West Wing cubby. They say they went through surveillance video and visitor logs without finding anything. Now, one theory is that a visitor left it over the busy July 4th weekend. Tour guides asked guests to put their phones in those cubbies by the entrance.
U.S. House Republicans passed an amendment to change the abortion policy for the Defense Department. The measure would ban the Pentagon from paying for or reimbursing expenses related to abortions for armed service members. Those costs could include travel or temporary housing if military members need to travel to another state where abortions are still legal. Democrats say if the measure is included in the final version of the National Defense Authorization Act, they will vote against it.
Another strike is hitting Hollywood, setting off a near industry-wide shutdown. SAG-AFTRA, the union representing actors and performers, will be striking today. A midnight deadline to negotiate a new contract came and went with neither the actors or the major studios budging on what they want. SAG-AFTRA demanded higher wages, residuals from streaming services, and language around artificial intelligence. The studios called those demands unrealistic.
The jig is up. You cannot keep being dwindled and marginalized and disrespected and dishonored. The entire business model has been changed by streaming, digital, AI. This is a moment of history.
The actors joined nearly 20,000 Writers Guild members who've been striking for more than 2 months now. Films currently in production like Deadpool 3 and Wicked are expected to immediately come to a halt. Movies already set to be released like Barbie and Meg 2 will still hit theaters, but A-list celebrities won't participate in any promotion, which will impact studio profits. Actors also won't appear at next week's San Diego Comic-Con, and the 75th Annual Primetime Emmy Awards slated for September 18th may be postponed to next year, derailing the entire awards season. Now, a lot of you have been asking about Taylor Swift because she is, in fact, a SAG-AFTRA member as well. But don't worry, the strike won't impact this weekend's concerts. Industry insiders tell us her concert tour falls under a different contract than the one involved in the strike. According to strike rules, she can't do promotional interviews or go to award shows for the 2 movies that she was involved with last year, and the strike could slow down the work on a film that she is directing with Searchlight.
Today is Tube to Work Day in Boulder, and it comes when the water is fast and dangerous. A third person died in Boulder Creek this week. More than 14 people have died in Colorado rivers this year. Boulder Fire Rescue says water levels are low right now, and despite the recent death, water rescue calls make up a small percentage of their total calls, about 0.6%. The Tube to Work Day in Boulder will go on as it always has. The organizer is not worried. He stresses everyone should have the required safety gear like life jackets, helmet, and closed-toed shoes.
It wasn't until last Friday, when the flow started to dip and the forecast was dry all week, that I had a final walkthrough with the city that said, okay, we're in the zone, things are looking good. We reviewed it every single day this week to make sure we were still on track, and then we were a go.
Police and fire will be stationed along the creek like they are every year. Colorado Parks and Wildlife says water flows in rivers have dropped across the state since last week.